light body work. The light body work will be part of an overall healing system that we're bringing in. So it starts with activating the Kundalini energy within you, that when you're born, it's like sits in the base of the spine and in the lower 3 chakras, which is often referred to as first dimension, second dimension, third dimension. So you have the Kundalini energy there, and then we will do, so the first part of the training is Kundalini. So the more Kundalini you do, no matter what teacher you do it with, you're starting your light body work. And you've heard me tell you before, you're just building your container of light to hold more energy, to hold a higher vibration frequency. And sometimes so much light comes in that we go, right? Like when you guys did like 3 portal classes in a row, and somebody was like, I gotta get out of here. Right? It was so much, and then the physical body has to adjust. So traditionally, yoga has taught us about the movement of the physical body and the 7 chakras within the body. So like turn of the century, and then got into like the ascended masters, those all like 7th dimensional stuff. And this system, we're gonna go 15 dimensions. So we are multi-dimensional beings, right? But it starts with you come from the monad, and the monad, you could think of that as source, God, whatever you want to call it. And then the monad split into 12 oversouls. Think of it as like fingers, 12 fingers. And then oversouls, and then each of those oversouls created 12 souls of their own. So when I'm telling you you're multidimensional beings, you're one of 12. You're one of 12. And you find there's different parts of your soul that's living in different dimensions. And so sometimes you have a vision, or it can be a dream, where you think that it's a past life thing, but it's really a concurrent life thing. So you're existing in different dimensions, if that makes sense. You can think of it as scalar waves of frequency and energy. So you're just a hologram of frequency. You're just energy. You are light and you are sound. And from the one, light and sound created the morphogenic field that holds your soul, and your soul is split into 12. So it's really bringing the soul body back together. And in other dimensions, you in those other dimensions is supporting the you that's holding the most light in whatever dimension that you're in. So you could be in another dimension holding more light, and then you're supporting yourself in that other dimension. Does that make sense? Okay. So part of the program will be activating the light body in this physical 3D body. So we have a very hard time here because we have to live in this 3D. We have to live in this world, right? And then we get a glimpse of what it's like in other dimensions through our practice. But then we get pulled back into this world. And we're like, God, that's so hard. It's so hard to be here. And then physically, we really feel it, which is sometimes called Ascension Symptoms. So it's easier to traverse the dimensions the lighter your body is. So the more light you can bring in, the more density you can shed, it's easier to traverse those dimensions. And there are some that are just living in completely other dimensions than others around. And as you add more light to your body through whatever practices, the practices that we're doing, so I'm introducing some more light body stuff in, you get lighter and lighter and lighter and lighter. You find yourself living in a different dimension than the people that are around you. And those people aren't vibrating where you're vibrating. And they can't even comprehend what you're talking about. Like not even a little bit of what you're talking about. They look at you like you're an alien. Like, what? Like, how can you not know this? How can you not see this? It's as plain as day. It's evident. It's right in front of you. And they're just like, you're nuts. right? And so it can be very hard for people as people, as projects, as things fall away from you, because you don't resonate with them anymore. So there's these grief periods. People are having grief periods, especially like with their family and their friends. They're like, dropping away. And the more you do the practice, the bigger the split is. However, you hold them in your aura, you hold them in your light body. So just being you and just holding the frequency, you're helping them. And eventually, they get there. Everybody's on their own timeline. So the star seeds, the indigos, have come here because they have a contract with the earth. They have a contract with the earth to heal the earth and to bring humanity, to move them up the scale of dimensions. And you can think of scales of dimensions as like your chakras, right? First dimension, second dimension, third dimension, fourth dimension. So in the harmonic convergence in 1987, the whole planet came into the fourth. We're coming into the fourth dimension, which is the heart. And then fifth dimension, you come up, you've heard of 5D, that's the real Palladian energy. That's the real love frequency. But if you can't bridge the emotional dimension, the 4D, to get to the real love dimension, because each dimension has like you could think of it as like a membrane, I guess is the best way to describe it, between. And as you activate different chakra centers, you're moving, you're bringing more light in, and then the membrane isn't as strong. Does that make sense? And then you can move more light up. And then, okay, so then we'll get into light body activation. So the first part will be really Kundalini, but the more Kundalini you do, you're already doing it. So if I think of like my own journey, I started in Ascended Master teachings as a little girl. And then went out into the world, lost my way, and then started doing yoga as a teenager, and then was into like the Hatha yoga, and I'm learning all different types of yoga and Ashtanga yoga, and then there was like hot yoga, right? And then there was Kundalini, but Kundalini came very late for me because I really went into corporate business mode. And just did like meditation and like the bendy stretchy yoga, which was great, but wasn't enough. And then it was like Kundalini, and I was like, well, where has this been all my life? Like I discovered this in 2012. Are you kidding me? But that was my path of when I discovered it. I was like, well, why can't I discover one, like I'm his age? What the heck? So that wasn't where I was supposed to be. So everybody is coming in different. Okay, then master Kundalini for 10 years. Then it's like, okay, now we can get into the healing journey. And we're all here to heal, and we're our healers. So the energy healers that we go to are just helping us remember that we're the ones that can heal ourselves. Sophie knew this a long time ago. A long time ago. She was like, what did you say this night? If I'm not the one, who's going to heal me? I have to heal me. So you have to heal you. And so after activating the light body, we'll go into this. There's like 3 manuals of this. We'll go into the healing, the self-healing. But it's all intertwined. It's not like you're not doing anything. So last night, when we did the white gold alchemy meditation, and we'll do that in the day class. You're doing part of it. You're doing part of all of it because that works on the nadis, right? The energy centers. And so like in Kundalini training, you have a whole morning or afternoon just on the nadis and those energy meridians that run through the body, and the koshas and the tattvas. So it's all combined. You could think of it as like, we always look at it as 2D, you're going up the scale. But it's really a field around you, like a tube torus of energy. And the main nadis, here at the navel point, we're going to do a navel point thing today. with Yogi MD. You will love it. Because I love Yogi MD. That corresponds to different levels of the field in different dimensions. So it doesn't mean that this is the second and third dimension and the 9th and 10th are up here. No, they're out in waves of energy around you. It's not like, it's not linear. Does that make sense? Okay, so you're always working on it. I'm just starting to like get into all this stuff with you. It's funny because Gabby was telling me she printed something and it ended up being like a book, and I was like, don't worry about it. Because there's 3 of these. So, but it's very, very cool. And this morning, you know how I've been telling you, like, I should just stop planning what I'm going to teach? Because they just tell me what I'm going to teach. But this morning, I woke up to the Hatha and the Kundalini. And I just woke up with something, I'm like, okay, fine, what? And this, I mean, that's the page I opened up to. And so, and it works beautifully with what I had planned here. The reason I just planned this was because of the astrology. So we're doing coordinating the mind, body, and soul because Mercury tonight is moving into Aquarius. Right? Yeah. So astrology plays into it as well, and your numerology. That is part of your template here. So that's why we learn about astrology and numerology. It's the clues to your Dharma path, the clues to what you're supposed to be doing here on the planet. So know your houses, know the planets in your houses. And it's really easy to do. Once you learn what the symbols are, then you just start looking up the houses. And you go, oh, here's what this Venus symbol is. Okay, what house number is this Venus in? And then you go, oh, okay, it's in the 12th house. What does that mean? Everything's at your fingertips. Venus in the 12th house. There it all is. And you're like, oh my God, that perfectly describes me. And that's as easy as it is. And if you want guidance, there's a lot of people that know, astrology. I feel like I know enough astrology just to be dangerous. But I'm not really an astrologer, right? I mean, I'll go to astrologers and then I understand more of what they're talking about because of my studies, but I'm not an astrologer. So, don't always take everything I say about astrology and say, this is it. Because it's really what you do with your astrology more. Like Yogi Bhajan used to just say, astrology. You make your own astrology. Remember how I've told you that people have like amazing charts and they just are doing shit with it? And others that have really hard charts and I'm looking at them like, how are you even living right now? And they're doing great. Heather's like, let's get my chart. Okay, so let's get to it because, of course, I always want to fit in a lot more than I can. And I want you to, as you're rubbing, you're activating these nadi channels, right? So just keep activating. I want you to visualize when we tune in this tube of light. This tube of light around you. And violet flames inside the tube of light here at the first 7 levels of the field. Okay? So I always have this up. So when we're building that 12D shield, you're visualizing the tube of light and then the violet all around you.